I'm Detective Johnson with the Houston Police Department. I am a native Houstonian. I graduated from Eisenhower High School, and from there I went to Texas Southern University and received a Bachelor's of Business Administration. From there, I joined the police department, and I've been on the department for almost 27 years. Of those 27 years, I would say about 15 or 16 of those years I've been in investigation, and of those years of investigation, I have been part of the Cyber and Financial Crimes Division. So I'm here today to talk to you about safeguarding your identity. So let's get started. Identity theft. Data theft, which is also what it's called, is a big business. There was some good news in 2018. Javelin Strategy stated that identity theft victims in the U.S. fell by 15%, from 16.7 million victims in 2017 to 14.4 million in 2018. Additionally, children are becoming victims of identity theft. That's because the law changed and it stated that children, as soon as they're born, they are supposed to get Social Security cards or Social Security numbers. So therefore, fraud has been going on with their Social Security number by misusing it for credit card or to get a new apartment, get a phone or what have you, because most of the time it is the parents who are using these Social Security numbers, and they are using those numbers because they no longer can use theirs to get those type of services. Security firm found that over 1 million children were identity theft victims in 2017. Your chances of being a victim of identity theft are 1 in 4. Every second, an identity is stolen. On an average, identity theft victims spend 80 hours to undo damages and clear their names. I beg to differ, because the cases that I have investigated, it's going to take more than 2 weeks, basically your business time in the office, to clear that. It's going to take you either way, but from 1 to 6 to 8 months to clear your identity from being misused by someone else. So it says 80, I don't believe that. How many of you have your Social Security card with you? And I usually ask this question when I'm sitting before everybody and I'm asking them these 3 questions, because it's gonna lead to something. So just, you sitting there and you're watching this, do you have your Social Security card on you? Do you have your children's Social Security card on you? And how many credit cards do you have on you at this time? Well, if you have all 3 of these identifiers on you at this time, let me have your purse, let me have your wallet. Everybody, let's go shopping, because we're going to open new accounts, and we're going to all do it in this person's name. I say this because you need to be aware that you do not need to carry your Social Security card around with you or anyone else's Social Security card around you. You only need to have at the max 3 credit cards on you at any time. Because in your wallet or in your purse, all they need is your driver's license, your Social Security card, and 1 credit card. And they can go and have new credit cards and anything else they're trying to get, and then all be in your name. How do identity thieves obtain personal information? They steal your wallets or purse, where they containing all of these identifying information. You leave your wallet in the car. Men, y'all have a terrible, terrible habit of leaving your wallets in the car, because you don't want that big bulge in your back pocket or any of your pockets or whatever. But you need to stop leaving your wallets in your car. Ladies, when you go on shopping and you putting your groceries in the car or your bags in the car, you want to always throw your purse in the back of the car, but you got to remember, the doors are unlocked. Somebody's going to roll up, pull that purse out, and before you can stop them, they're going to be gone with all your information. I worked a case like that, and I'm in the process of filing charges on the person that obtained the purse and went into another city, our city, and used her cards to purchase things in her name. So you must be aware of what you're doing when you're shopping. They'll retrieve information from lost and discarded computer equipment. In other words, you get a new phone, you get a new computer, or what have you, anything that's electronics, you get something new and you just dispose of it without getting it wiped out. In other words, all the information, all your personal information, pictures, identification, anything that you have put in that phone, you need to have it wiped out before you sell it or dispose of it, period. Okay, and I'm not too good on the radio frequency identification readers, but that is one way for them to obtain your checks, your credit cards, your debit cards, your passport, your driver's license, social security numbers. All of these things can be taken that way. They steal your mail, including your bank and credit card statements that are pre-approved credit offers. You know, I get that all the time, but you must learn to shred that information before you throw it away. They will complete a change of address form, and they don't have to go to the post office anymore and fill that paperwork out and change your address. They can do it over the computer. All I have to do is go to the U.S. Postal website and do a change of address. They also will find your personal information in your home. And when I get to that point, I'm telling you, this is usually affecting the elderly or people that's not capable of taking care of themselves and they need help. And we call people in to help them. And we're entrusting someone, you're entrusting your loved one to a person they don't know, you really don't know, but they can actually go into their house and steal their personal information, get credit cards, steal money out of their accounts, thousands of dollars, and you're trying to get all that information out. And by the time you find out about it, it's too late. So you must be mindful who you allow into your home to take care of your loved ones. They fraudulently obtain your credit report by posing as your landlord and employee. This happens a lot. So you got to be mindful of who you're giving your information to. They get your information from the workplace. You know, I've dealt with people where they working for a company and they are getting people's information. I worked a case not too long ago. FEMA was working for a company. Somebody came in, used their credit card to pay their bill. Next thing you know, she's using that information to pay on her apartment rent. So these things you must pay attention to. And the businesses also can be hacked. There are people that can work with businesses and monitor your system to ensure that no one is hacking into your business files. Now, phishing. This is a wonderful thing that they decide they want to just cast out their lines and see what they can get. I'm going to use an example of a case that I'm investigating right now. A lady received a phone call from someone they say that was part of the publishing clearinghouse, and that she had won a brand new car and $1 million, and they said, well, just send us $10,000. Well, this lady, she's over 85 years old, and she sends them $10,000. And then they call back, okay, we having some more problems, so I need you to send this amount of money. Send them some more money. And she does that about 2 or 3 times, and someone says, this don't sound good, you probably need to call the police. At the end, she's out $65,000. This is basically what phishing can happen to you. So you must look out and be mindful of who you're giving your information out to. What are some common warning signs of identity theft or fraud? Bills that do not arrive as expected, unexpected credit cards, account statements, denials of credit that you did not apply for, calls or letters about purchases you did not make, charges on your financial statements that you don't recognize, incorrect information on your credit reports, accounts or addresses you don't recognize, or information that is inaccurate. What are the most common ways to commit identity theft or fraud? Shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, pre-approved credit cards, and spam. What is shoulder surfing? The best way I can explain this without reading this, and you can read it if you like, if you are at a hotel and you're trying to give them your information, like your credit card information, to rent a hotel room, You don't want anybody standing over your shoulder, listening to your conversation, giving them your personal information. This is how they get your personal information, your credit card number or your codes to use in order to obtain services. You want to be mindful of who is standing around you. One good thing about what's going on right now, everybody has to be 6 feet from you. But before, businesses have been having people stand a certain distance away from people when they're conducting their businesses. And if you feel uncomfortable, there's nothing wrong with telling someone, can you please step back while I'm handling my business? They may get a little upset, but you'll be comfortable. That's the main issue there, is so that you could be comfortable doing your business. Dumpster diving. I know no one in this room will go around in people's bins or trash and looking for things so that they commit a crime. So that's basically what they're doing. They're banking on that you are not going to shred your information, that you're going to throw your information into your garbage bin or into the big bins at the apartment complexes, and you're not going to go through them and shred them. Well, what they're going to do is happily go through your trash and steal your information. So in order for that not to happen, you must shred your documents before you throw them away. If you don't have a shredder, go out and buy them. They're real cheap. They're not as expensive as they were when they first came out, but you can get them, go into a store, you can go to eBay, you can go to Amazon, order you one, and get your shredder. But you must get a shredder so you'll be able to shred those important documents. Pre-approved credit cards. We all get those pre-approved credit cards where saying you got $5,000 limit. Fill it out. And you'll be like, I don't want this. Well, don't just throw that away, because they will get that information, fill it out, and have that amount of money and credit in your name. And that bill will be sent to their address or to a P.O. box or wherever they want to send it to. But all that money that they're spending on that credit card will be on your credit, and you would have to fix that. So when you get pre-approved credit cards, do not just throw them away, shred them. Spam is similar to phishing. They will email you and promise you some type of benefit and requesting data from you, such as your driver's license number, your social security number, all these things. So be aware of information that you receive online from people or businesses, even in businesses you think you know or you do business with. That probably is not them. Also be aware of phishing, where they're going to give you counterfeit checks, and phony credit card websites. How can you protect yourself from identity theft? This is basically common sense. Don't carry important documents like your social security card, passports, or birth certificates with you unless you need them that day. So if you need them that day, use them and take them back home as soon as possible and put them away. Don't give out the number unless it is absolutely necessary or legally required. Usually that's by your employer, your landlord, or anybody that important. Contact your credit card company or your bank as soon as you realize you may have lost or misplaced your credit card or debit cards. Do this before you contact law enforcement. It's very important, because if you don't contact your credit card company or your bank regarding your debit card, they're going to continue to do this while you're talking to the police. So do that first and then call the police. Store receipts in a secure place, such as your purse or wallet, while you are shopping. Never throw your receipts away. Either keep them in a secure place or shred them. Okay, we talked about shredders. Cannot stress that any stronger than you must buy a shredder so that you can shred old credit cards and bank statements, utility bills, and new credit card offers you receive in the mail. Check your credit card and bank statements every month to look for suspicious and unauthorized charges. Limit your credit card use. Create a list of your credit cards and bank accounts with contact numbers. Keep the account information in a safe place. This will help you immediately cancel all of them if your wallet is lost or stolen. You also might want to check with your credit card companies to see, do they have a system where they can link all your credit cards together. That way, if you call that one credit card company, they can shut down all your credit cards at the same time. Don't order checks pre-printed with your driver's license or your social security number. If you can, try to keep an address off of it too. On my checks, I only have my first two initials and my last name. I don't even have my phone number on it because the first thing they're going to ask me is for my phone number. So don't have that information on your checks. It's not that important. You do not have to have everything on your check in order to have it processed. Don't give out personal information to telemarketers or others who initiate the call to you. When shopping online, make sure the company is a good company. It displays an approved security symbol, as make sure you're logged out of the site when finished. Now the security symbol be the little lock, and it usually is the bottom right-hand corner of the page of the company that you're looking at. Okay, the FBI, Social Security Department, your banking institution, and your credit card companies will not contact you by phone. They will send you a text or contact you by snail mail. The United States Postal Service. If the website does not begin with HTTPS, it is not a safe site. So you do not give your information out. If you don't see the little lock and HTTP does not have the S at the end, it's not a safe site. Leave it. It's most likely spam. Preventing identity theft. Request your own credit report each year and check the reports for inaccuracies. If you've been the target of identity theft fraud, check the data every 6 months. In the United States, if you are unemployed and looking for work, you're permitted to a free copy of your credit report once a year for any credit reporting agency. Not only if you looking for employment, if you've been denied a loan for a house, or if you've been denied rent, if you've been denied any type of credit, you can get your credit report free. So there's no reason in the world you should not ever get your credit report. You can't say, I can't get a credit report because it costs too much. Nope, you got too many reasons where it's free. So you got to get that credit report. What should you do to avoid becoming a victim of identity theft? Just remember this word, scam. Be stingy about giving out your personal information unless you trust them. Check your financial information regularly and look for what should be there and what shouldn't. Ask periodically for a copy of your credit report and maintain careful records of your banking and financial accounts. Remember, scam. What should you do when you become a victim of identity theft? Contact your bank and credit card company first. Contact your local police department, your local office of Postal Inspection Service, and you want to do that whenever people are stealing the mail, and I'm dealing with that right now, where people go to the post office, put it in a little blue box, and expect everything is fine, and a couple of days later they find out that they checked that they mailed for $100 that turned into $10,000. So when something like that happens, you want to contact the Post Office Inspection Service as soon as possible. Social Security Administration. I don't know why they say this, because they're not going to give you a new Social Security number unless, and I'm going to use a case that I investigated. My complainant lived in New York City, and the person that was using his identity was here in Houston, Texas, trying to purchase a Mercedes-Benz. I caught the case. I solved the case. The man that was using my complainant's identity had been using it for 17 years. And for 17 years, he had been fighting the Social Security Administration to have his Social Security number changed. It took him 17 years and me filing charges and issuing a warrant out for this man's arrest in order for them to change my complainant's Social Security number. So it would take an act of God in order to get a Social Security number. It's just not going to happen. If that's your Social Security number, you're going to keep it for the rest of your life. You should also contact one of the three credit agencies. They all share the same information as Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The free annual credit reports under George W. Bush administration, the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act was implemented. And this basically said that you are entitled to one free report on your credit report per year. And you can order or receive your free credit report. All you have to do is go to www.annualcreditreport.com. I'll say that again, www.annualcreditreport.com. Or you can call them toll free at 877-322-8228. Again, 877-322-8228. Or you can complete an annual credit report and mail that information in. You can also contact the Federal Trade Commission at www.ftc.gov/credit. That's www.ftc.gov/credit. From there, you can get all kinds of information at that website. I'm going to share that information with you. You can go to the Federal Trade Commission. You can file your consumer complaint. You can report identity theft, get your free credit report, register for Do Not Call, get consumer alerts, and order free resources pertaining to identity theft. If you are notified by someone that someone is using your checks, you might want to try to contact one of the 4 remaining check verification companies. And they are Check Systems, Equifax, Scan, and Telecheck. Used to be about 7 or 8 of them, but these are the only 4 that's still around, mostly because people do not issue that many checks anymore. Here are some other steps you can take when you become a victim of identity theft. Contact the security or fraud departments of each business where an account was opened or charged without your knowledge. Follow up in writing with copies of supporting documents. Keep copies of documents and records of your conversations about the thefts. Complete an ID theft affidavit and include it with your written statement. All this information that you're writing down and you're sending in, you're notarizing, you must keep that information at least 7 years, up to 10 years. I know that's a long time, but these things can come back and haunt you at any time. You also want to file a report with the law enforcement agency and provide copies to any creditors needing proof of the crime. So you want to keep your report that you file with law enforcement for the same amount of years, 7 to 10 years. You want to report to the creditor the accounts that you know or believe have been tampered with or opened fraudulently. Report identity theft to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau by submitting a complaint. Your complaints help law enforcement officials across the country in their investigation. Visit the CFPB's website at www.consumer.finance.gov. www.consumer.finance.gov. Thank you for listening to what I had to say today on identity theft. And if you have any further questions regarding identity theft or cyber crimes, please do contact the Cyber and Financial Crimes Division at 713-308-2500. I hope this information has helped you and you'll share that information with other people so that everyone can protect themselves from identity theft.